You probably have wondered throughout this process if you could get away with throwing out a really low ball offer, maybe 50,000 or $100,000 lower than whatever they're listed at, just to see, if it works, throw it on the wall, see if it sticks. Well, I have some advice for you. Take it for what you will. Over the last 26 years, I've never seen that work. The thing is that most homes are priced to sell, meaning the listing agent has done their homework and they have comped out the house to see. And what that means by comped out is they've compared all the different homes that have already sold that are a lot like that house, and they've priced that house in line with what the homes have recently been selling for. Most of the time, and almost all the time, a lowball offer is not going to get accepted. And what ends up happening is you just make the sellers mad, and then they don't respond, and then they don't want to deal with you because they think you're unreasonable. So that's my real talk for a lowball offer. I will tell you this though, there are three areas of negotiations that can come into play when you are negotiating a house to buy. So, of course, the first area of negotiation is going to be when you make the initial offer. So, some of you, we've already decided we know you need a seller credit. So, to cover closing costs. So, we're asking for that up front. If that's something that we absolutely need, then we're going to ask for that up front. If it's not something we need, then we might play that card at a later date and we might just try and negotiate the purchase price at the beginning. And so this is definitely your realtor's department. I've just been around for a very long time, and I love talking about this to help support our premier agents in helping you understand how their job works and how that process works. So, you, I'm sure, have an amazing realtor who is going to be negotiating on your behalf. And so, the first step is to make that offer and then ask for anything that you absolutely need in the offer as far as seller credit goes to cover closing costs. And then that's like negotiation step number one. But the second area of negotiations happen 2 to 3 weeks after you're already in contract. So you got to remember something. You want to buy this house just as bad as the seller wants to sell it to you. So 2 weeks later, when Mr. and Mrs. Seller have moved on emotionally and mentally, they've maybe even spent the money that they hope to be receiving from the sale of their house. Maybe they're in contract already on a different house. Well, at that point, you're doing your home inspection, your pest inspection, maybe you got a roof inspection, any inspections that you and your realtor decided needed to be done. That's what you're doing in the first 2 weeks. And when you get all those inspections back, that is your time to go in for maybe a price reduction, maybe an additional seller credit that you didn't ask for in the beginning, or maybe you do ask for some repairs to be done. I will say this, there's no perfect house, so we're always going to have some kind of repairs that need to be done on a house. And typically what happens when you have a repair request, instead of the seller doing the repairs, they're going to give you either, like I said, a monetary value of a seller credit towards closing costs, or they're going to reduce the price. And you can't make money on a purchase, so we have to make sure that when you do those seller credits, that it doesn't exceed how much your closing costs are. So those are the first two areas of negotiations, and the third area of negotiation doesn't always happen. And in today's market, I haven't seen it happen in a while, but you never know, it could. And the third area of negotiation is when the appraisal comes in low. So all lenders only lend on the appraised value. So if you are putting 3% down we only lend you 97% of the appraised value. It doesn't matter what you've agreed to buy the house for. Now, could you make up the difference and put extra down? Yes. However, most of the time what we see happen when the appraisal comes in low is we send it off to the listing agent and your agent, the buyer's agent, and we let them know that the purchase price needs to be renegotiated. And oftentimes we find that a seller is willing to drop the price accordingly because we have, a report that says the house isn't worth what you've originally agreed to pay for it. So there is my chat with you on the negotiations and what works and what could work and what sometimes doesn't work. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I can be reached via text 916-705-2557, or you can email me at amy.debusk@apmortgage.com. You can always call me as well. All right, happy house hunting to you.